Hello, children. Welcome yet again for another session of letter writing. This time, in this session, I'm going to pick up the formal letter writing. In my previous video, I told you about informal letters, which is written to your personal people, your friends, your family, your relatives. But here, we are going to talk about formal letter writing. Now, formal letter writing is absolutely different from the informal one. It's different in the ways we write to the people, it's different in format and in the content part of it. Let's have a quick look at the formal letters. Formal letters are basically written to editors of newspapers or magazines. If you want to convey something to them, you can always do it through a formal letter. You can also write letters to your principals of certain institutions where you want to leave, you want to any kind of favor or any kind of a work that you need to show or put up or has to be done, needs to be done, you want to leave, you want to uh, get some activities changed or some sections changed. There are lots of matters where you need to put up certain complaints about certain thing in a school or certain things that you can put up to the principals of the schools or different colleges or institutions there. There can be certain subject changes in the higher classes you want, so all those you have to do it through a formal letter. You can also write formal letters to professional men and women, somebody in some kind of a profession, and then you want to write certain informations about something, you want to give them some suggestions or some kind of a complaint that you want to put forward. You can always do that in a formal way, of course. Then there are again officials who are unknown to us, unknown people, unknown professional people you don't know, maybe some branded company, and the director of certain companies, and you don't like a product or some product has to be changed. Then those complaints or those letters have to be put up in a formal way, and they can be written to those officials. Further, in formal letters, we look for languages, which is the language which is used has to be very courteous. You have to be very, very polite. You cannot be very rude, and very simple. That means you cannot have very high vocabulary which is difficult to understand. Not always, of course, you don't need that. And it has to be very, very clear, absolutely clear, so that the person you're writing the letter to understands it at one go. Another thing important which needs to be put up in a formal letter is that your language has to be dignified. It cannot be any rude way of writing. It cannot be a different kind of a language. You can be rude to somebody. You can be harsh with somebody. You cannot use those kinds of languages there. It has to be very short and precise, to the point. Means whatever point you are writing, you can always put it up straightforward. You don't have to go in for irrelevant kind of matters related to it, before and after all that, but straight to the point. Further, and the most important one, these letters are written for lots of reasons. There can be lots of reasons that you want to bring forward. One is, of course, you want to advise somebody something. You want to you have a complaint about some product and you want to share that with the person and get it changed, maybe, whatever. And admiration, you've liked, admiration is you're admiring something so much about a product and you want to let them know there's something about a school activity that you've really enjoyed a lot and had good fun there, and got more motivations from there, and you can write to your principal about that. Then there are certain dissatisfaction. You are not satisfied with one of your any kind of a service of a product, or maybe a product you are using and you're dissatisfied. You can always convey to the directors or the people there, the officials there, to them about the dissatisfaction. You can further suggest certain things to the people officially, of course, not personally, but yes, officially. In formal letters you can give certain suggestions, like you can suggest something that this can be done so things can improve. When you're writing to the newspapers, you can give your opinions about certain things, and you can refer to, like, the authorities looking into the matter. You can convey through those kinds of letters also. We'll be doing those letters in depth later on, but the basic things that are required in a formal letter are these. Once again, basically written to editors, your principals, professionals, and of other officials. Language has to be very courteous, simple, and clear. Your letters have to be very dignified, short, and to the point. Further, they can be written for some advice, complaint, admiration, dissatisfaction, suggestion, or opinions. Right, moving forward to the format of our letter. Now, in my previous video, as I told you about the format of a formal letter, it's quite similar, I must say. Just the first 2 points are quite similar, though the rest of it is all added on a little bit more, and it is written in a different way altogether. Now, of course, beginning with, it is going to be our address. Sender's address is very important. So let's have the similar address there. Let me pick up another address this time, but in the similar pattern, as I said, it has to be followed from the left margin, which is going to be very important. All your paragraphs also from the left hand side, it's going to begin. You don't have to leave those 2 finger spaces which we used to leave long time back. Now that format has changed. It's all from the left margin that we have to write. So coming up with the address of the letter here, 36 Gopinath Marg, Jaipur. Okay, let's have this. Let me put it up a little higher so that I can put in lots of things down there. 36 Gopinath. Now that goes in just one line. 36 Gopinath Marg. All these beginning letters have to be in block. You cannot have them in small letters at all. It has to be block, no abbreviations used. Absolutely no abbreviations. You can see it in keeping the duster here to see to it that it is in a straight line. If I write the next address here like Jaipur, if I write here, that is line going a crooked way. So that's going to be absolutely incorrect. We have to put Jaipur just under 36. You have to be very particular with the format of the letter. That is something very, very important. Okay, now what was this? This is basically the sender's address. Right, the first part, it was the similar one in the informal letter also. We had the sender's address. Leaving a line, we move on to the date. Let me keep the date as 22nd October and comma 2020. The date here, the month here has to be a complete month written. You cannot use abbreviations for your month. Like if I just write OCT October, no. The complete spelling of the month has to be put up there. Coming down, well, this is the date which we have put up here after leaving a line. And once again, we leave a line and we write the designation and address of the addressee. We again leave a line here. We write the designation. Or let me just say, if suppose I'm writing the letter to the editor of a newspaper. So I mention here the editor. It has to be the editor. Initially in our olden times we used to write to the editor. Now to has been omitted. It's no more there that we put up. So it's straight away the editor and directly the name of the newspaper. The Times of India. Suppose I put the Times of India. And of course it's from, let's say, the same place, let's say New Delhi, the Times of India, New Delhi. That's the address. First of all, that is the designation. That means the post. If you're writing to the principal, you'll write the principal there. So designation is important. And just after designation, we need to put the address. Whose address? Address of the addressee. Now who's the addressee? The letter, the person whom the letter is going to. I am writing sender's address, my address there, suppose, date, edit, then leaving a line, we have the editor, that is the designation of the person I'm writing the letter to, and we have this addressee's address, the person we are sending it to, that address to be written here. Now, do we come to the salutation? No, there's one more thing we need to add up in between. So we leave a line and we write our subject. Subject, and whatever your subject is, you will mention here. So this is the reason, or the in just one small line or few words that you need to put in. Suppose you want a leave from your principal, so you write and you mention as a leave application. In that case, you'll write a leave application here. That's it. After the subject, you come to another thing, is finally your salutation, where you greet the person. Now here again, you leave the line and you write sir or madam. Whichever person you're writing, if you are unaware of the person you're writing to, if the person, whoever the person is on the post, you don't know, so you can refer it like sir or madam. If you know the person is sir, you can just mention sir. If you know your principal is a lady, you can always mention just madam. Be very careful, no respected used any further. No dear, the person is not a very familiar person to you, in the sense of is not very personal to you. It's got to be very formal. So no dear required there. It's just sir or madam. If you don't know, you can put a slash and you can write both. And this thing is said to be as salutation. This is the salutation or the greeting of the person. And finally, then we have our content, or you can call it the body, which is again on at your level, class 7 level, we can always pick it up as 100 to 120 words, or whatever words as mentioned to you in your question, right? Finally, we come to the subscription part, the end part, where we have to write our name. Now, of course, it's not going to be yours lovingly, because you're not known, you're being personal to the person. You will need to put up as yours faithfully. You leave a line after the content and you put in yours without the apostrophe s, because I told you generally children write apostrophe s and they miss out their half a mark here. Yours faithfully. Another mistake that I've come across that children tend to do is they write this F with a capital letter here. I'll need to adjust my camera again for you people so that you can all get to see. Now if you see, this F has to be in small letters. It cannot be a capital F here. And just below that, my full name. Since I am Ruchide, I'll add up my surname also. I hope that's visible to you all. Well, slightly being cut, never mind. Ruchide, my full name. My name with the surname has to go there. Coming up once again with a quick recap of the entire thing. On the top, we begin with the address. Yes, that's clearly visible now. We begin with the sender's address, and sender's address will have no abbreviations. It's going to be maximum 1/3 of your entire line. You'll not extend it to half the line there. So you're going to be very neat, of course, but not even very squeezing it in, writing it to very small letters there. But make it short. Nobody is going to go to your place and verify whether you stay here or not. So you can always pick up a smaller address and put it up there. Now, this part, the letter address part, has to be in not more than 3. I've given 2 here. You can add up one more line there, maximum 3. And further we come down, leaving a line, we come to 22nd, giving the date. Now, as I said in my previous video, your date can be in this format, in this pattern, or it can be October 22, 2020, comma 2020. But of course not 22/10/20. No, that's not going to be acceptable at all. So let's stick to this format here. Coming down, leaving a line, we come to the designation of the person, the letter whom we are writing to. So that designation, if it is the principal, we'll write the principal and the name of the school and the school's address there, right? And moving down further, like here I've just written the editor, the Times of India, New Delhi. After that, in a formal letter, the subject is very, very important. You cannot miss out the subject of your letter. At times what happens is a number of letters come inside the company or the school or the offices. So how do they segregate those? How do they differentiate and keep them? They just see the subject, okay, it's leave related here, it's activity change related there, it's fees exemption, it's there. So something like that, it's all segregated, separated in this pattern. So subject of all letters is important, right? If you're writing a personal letter, you don't have to give that one letter is only going to that person. The person is not receiving plenty, so you don't need a subject there. But here when you're writing for a specific reason, so that is why a subject is very important here. Now subject, colon, and then you write the subject there. Leaving a line, salutation part. That's the greeting part. You do not write respected or dear. Straight away, sir, madam. A number of the children make yet another mistake is they write ma'am. Well, ma'am is an apostrophe with an apostrophe, so no abbreviations. There you miss out your marks again. So avoid that ma'am there. It has to be the complete word. Children, you have to be very careful in the format of the letters here. Minute things might miss out your marks. Even though if it is half a mark, it's going to be very, very important for you, right? Again, leaving the line there, we move on to the content part of the body part of your letter. The entire body, the word limit will be given to you. If not, you can put it up to 100 to 120 words for the level of class 7 maybe. And once you're through with your minimum 3 paragraphs for the content, what you have to do is you have to come down to your subscription part where you mention yours faithfully. You can't be loving to somebody you are unknown to, right? But you can be faithful. So yours faithfully and your full name. The person does not know you personally, so you will not just write your full name. You will be writing you'll not just be writing your first name, but your full name. With your surname, you'll be mentioning there. You miss out your marks here again in case you miss out your surname there, right? At times, you know what teachers do? They give you a letter, write a formal letter. You are, let's say you are Suhani, and they don't give you the surname. So you, in the end, while writing, you just write the name Suhani. You miss out the surname. And that's the trick the teachers get to cut your marks. So try avoiding that and add on a surname in a formal letter whenever you are writing down a formal letter. Okay, let me just give you a brief about the content of this content part, the content of the body part that is required to put in while you are writing a formal letter. Again, as I told you for your informal letter also, I told you about 3 paragraphs which have to be put in. Similarly, for your formal letter also, minimum of 3 paragraphs is important. Coming down to the 3 important paragraphs, content or the body part, what all the 3 different paragraphs can have. The first one can have, of course, your reason for writing. Reason for writing the letter. As I told you in the beginning, you have to be very precise, to the point, short. So this is being very precise. First paragraph, I tell you the reason why I am writing the letter. The next one, I give you the details. I missed out an I there. So this is the first paragraph where we just mentioned about the reason why I'm writing the letter to you. In the second one, I'll mention about the details about the reason, about the problem or the event or whatever issue that is there. Details about the issue. Now, it can be a happy issue, it can be something good, it can be a suggestion, whatever it is, you have to give the detailed description of that in your second para. And finally, in your third para, you can give your suggestion In the third one, you can mention about your suggestion or your appeal, something that you were requesting the person to do. You can also talk about conclusion part of it. This is basically, the last paragraph is about the conclusion. I hope the matter will be looked into and the problem will be resolved. I hope you look into the matter and get my work done. Something, whatever the matter is, according to that comes your conclusion part. So, once again, the content part of your letter will have the first paragraph. Generally, the first and your last concluding paragraphs are a little smaller. The main center, the second one, the body, in the body, the second para is going to be the detailed description. It's going to be a little bigger than the first and the third one. Okay, the first one will be short with just your reason why you're writing that letter. Formal letters, it's very, very easy to pick up a reason. Whatever it's given in the question, you can always change a little words and add up for the reason for you to write the letter. Next is your description, your reason, your detailed, what the issues were, what the problem was, or what your suggestions were, all that in the second paragraph. Finally, you can conclude by giving one-line suggestion or an appeal or some ending part of it in that similar manner, depending upon the topic or the person you're writing the letter to. Everything formal in the format, if it is perfectly done, if the body is very well written, I'm sure you all can score wonderful marks for your letter writing. I hope the letter writing, formal letter, is equally easy for you as it's going to be for your informal letters. So I'm sure by now you will have a good difference between formal and informal letter writing. Thank you, children.